Hey guys, it's Nick from This here. Mortal Kombat is a huge universe with a crazy amount of characters, but there's also a surprising amount of characters who have never been in the games. With all the different shows, comics, and movies, there's almost too many original characters to count. I'll be going over most of these characters, and if I think they have any chance of being added to Mortal Kombat 1, or any game for that matter. I'm only mentioning characters with names, so don't expect to see characters like Bus Driver and Shao Kahn Soldier. Including them would be overkill. Also, real quick about Mortal Kombat Conquest, it was a live-action TV series in the 90s, and I know absolutely nothing about it. I never watched it. I know, fake fan alert. But I mean, look at the list of original characters from Conquest. If I covered each and every one of them, this video would be way longer than it already is. So, long story short, I don't expect any of the Conquest characters to appear in-game, but my friend Terry, who has watched the show, told me Taja and Zero would be cool in the games. So, shout out Taja and Zero. Aside from this show, I'll be listing every non-game Mortal Kombat character. With that out of the way, let's get this list started. Arguably the most notorious character on my list is Cole Young, from the 2021 live-action Mortal Kombat movie. I dedicated an entire video to him and the idea of him being playable in a game one day, which I'll link in the description. NetherRealm Studios developer confirmed they're leaving Cole in his own world, making it seem like he won't ever be playable, but who knows. Considering he's not a very popular character and his power is kinda niche, I don't expect to see Cole anytime soon, but I'm not against the idea. Art Lean is a minor character from the 1995 live-action Mortal Kombat movie who doesn't really do much. Gets killed by Goro. That's it. He's a human martial artist with no special abilities, and I've seen some people request him over the years, which I assume is either satire or nostalgia, because I really don't see why this generic dude would be brought into the games. Speaking of the Mortal Kombat movie, another minor character is Liu Chan, Liu Kang's brother. We also don't see him do anything but die, so again, I don't expect to see him make his way to the games, and if he does, he'll be totally revamped and changed to the point where his movie counterpart would be unrecognizable. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm was a 90s cartoon that introduced a lot of new characters to the franchise, one of these being Colonel Zenkaro. Just another Shokan, but he has a beard. He only appears in one episode of the show and doesn't put up much of a fight before being banished to no return, which most likely includes him ever appearing in an MK game. We have Goro and Kintaro. We don't really need poor old Zenkaro. Asgaarth, on the other hand, is a really cool character the show introduced, and easily one of the characters on this list I'd love to see in an MK game most. He's very unique compared to the Mortal Kombat fighters we've had in the games. We've never seen anything like him, a Birdman. Just imagine how different it would be seeing his anatomy and X-ray animations. We don't see him do much in the show either, but he is a capable fighter with superhuman strength, being able to punch a hole through a cyborg effortlessly. We don't know what his special abilities are, but that would make his character all the more fun to utilize in a Mortal Kombat game. NRS has endless options for Asgaarth. I don't know how likely a game debut will be for him, but he was referenced in a Mortal Kombat 1 intro, so that's gotta count for something.
Your martial arts style is unique.
It is the way of the Asgaarth.
King Jared playing a role in the story could be a good time to introduce Asgaarth, seeing as he was Jared's general and advisor in the show. I've seen more fans mention him than a lot of other characters on this list, and I think his unique design and badass voice really help his case. Hideyoshi is one of Shao Kahn's deadliest warriors, and easily one of the most badass looking characters from the show. He wears heavy armor and wields various weapons such as a whip, katana, and a staff. He only appears in one episode, and of course, he loses, but I think he could be a really cool character in the games if NRS fleshed him out, or even just added him as a generic soldier of Shao's army in the story mode. Ruby is a woman from a unique realm called Hinpar that was invaded by Shao Kahn. She looks like a female version of Ermac, and we see her fight with Katana briefly, but no special powers are used. Mortal Kombat 1 might be a great time to use her character again, as the multiverse shows us female versions of Scorpion, Johnny, and even Reptile. Why not make Ruby a female version of Ermac? Sudra is a pretty unique character, having 5 insect heads. We don't know what his race is, or even what realm he's from. Sudra doesn't have much personality, as he's just a mindless brute, but I could see him being an awesome sub-boss in-game. I highly doubt a character with his anatomy would be playable in the games. I mean, how would X-rays and fatalities even work on 5 heads? He can breathe toxic fumes, so I'd love to see him, or something like him, in the form of a sub-boss that we can't play as. Zara is an Amazonian warrior. She's a skilled fighter and a power-hungry villain. Her whole goal is to obtain the swords of Ilkhan, which are capable of opening portals to other realms. I think a power-hungry, sword-wielding Amazon would make for a pretty cool addition to the MK games, but she's pretty forgettable, so I'm not holding my breath. Oniro is the last character from Defenders of the Realm on my list, and he's an interesting character too, very clearly inspired by Shang Tsung. The former Grand Master of the Lin Kuei, he had the ability to shapeshift into different animals, either fully or partially, even being able to use cat claws while in his regular form. He could be Mortal Kombat's White Ninja if ever added, as that's basically what his design is in the show. New villains are always fun, and he could have some cool abilities with the vast array of animal forms at his disposal. At the very least, I could see him working as a Shang Tsung skin. I mean, there was also Karbrak and Komodai, but come on, that's Baraka and Reptile, who coincidentally aren't in the show. Hydro is such a cool character to me. He's basically just Rain, but as a part of the Lin Kuei. If we can have both Frost and Sub-Zero, I don't see why we couldn't have both Hydro and Rain too. Considering how little Hydro has appeared, it's surprising to think he's one of the most popular characters on this list. He first appeared in the Malibu comics as a human Lin Kuei member with control over water, even being able to adapt the water to freezing temperatures. Hydro appeared again in the live-action show Mortal Kombat Legacy, this time as a cyborg. Whether it's as a cyborg or as a human, I think Hydro probably has the strongest chance on this list of being a playable character one day. NRS even acknowledged his character, adding him as a match modifier in Mortal Kombat 11, where he would hit the fighters with a giant wave. I think Hydro has a perfect power for the games, and with a decent redesign, I could see him becoming a fan favorite. Rain is now a mage anyway, so why not have a water ninja again? Who doesn't love ninjas? Grum is a 6-armed Shokan that appears in the Malibu comics, and while his appearance was short-lived, he stands out by being the only 6-armed Shokan, as normally they're only seen with 4 arms. Since Collector's Race, the Naknada, is a 6-armed race introduced in the Mortal Kombat games, I doubt Grum will ever show up. At the most, I could see him having a cameo in the story mode. Henge is another minor character from the Malibu comics, and while he loses to Liu Kang in one kick, look at this guy. He's got such a badass design, it would be a real waste to never see him again. Henge is incredibly unique, being a giant rock fighter from a realm not present in the games, the Nightmare Realm. I find it extremely unlikely he'll ever appear due to how unknown he is, but man, would it ever be cool. Even a character inspired by him would be great. I really like his design and think he has potential, and I would love to see more of the Nightmare Realm. The combatant is a hideous 4-armed creation who has the abilities of Goro, Sonya, Liu Kang, and more MK fighters. I think he could make for a great sub-boss, as I really don't see a character with his anatomy being playable. But the idea of a villain with the hero's powers is a cool idea, and he could even be one of Shang Tsung's creations in the story. We're introduced to a young woman referred to only as Blue in Mortal Kombat Legacy, who helps Raiden escape a mental institute. She doesn't do any fighting, but she does stab Raiden with a scalpel to destroy his physical form and let him escape the institute he was imprisoned in. Maybe she could appear in the game's story mode if a character ever ends up in the loony bin, but otherwise I don't really see a way to add her to the games. Kotal Ketz is Kotal Khan's father that we're introduced to in the Mortal Kombat X comics. While an interesting character, we don't see him do much before his death at Goro's hands. Geez, is that a reoccurring theme in this video? Goro kills all these minor characters before we get a chance to see what they can do. It's safe to assume he has the same abilities as Kotal, so I think as a skin for Kotal in a future game is Ketz's best chance at appearing. King Gorbak is Goro's father, who we also meet in the MKX comics. We actually see this guy fight. He prefers combat up close and personal, utilizing different weapons with all 4 of his arms. While I do think he could be an awesome character in game, I think his similarity to Goro will hurt his chances, and like Kotal Ketz, is more likely to appear as a skin for his son. I can definitely see King Gorbak being in the story mode whenever this timeline's version of Goro is further developed. The last MKX comic character on my list is Forrest Fox. Introduced as a formidable Shirai Ryu student, he later gets possessed by Havoc to kill the entire Shirai Ryu clan, and carve his own face off with the Kamidogu dagger. I think Fox could be a fun new villain, and if not possessed by Havoc, he could be possessed by some other demonic force, as I think this version of Fox is the most interesting. Having his face carved off would be a great design to see in-game. Possessed Fox utilizes red energy attacks as well as a dagger, so I think he could make for a really badass fighter in MK. Since he's still a newer character from the comics, and a unique one, I wouldn't write off the possibility of him joining the roster one day, but at the same time, I can also see him being forgotten about and left in the comics. In the animated MK movie Snowblind, we briefly see 2 women fighting to death in a cage match, Kindra and Graji. I don't think they're even named in the movie, I only know their names from the credits. They're definite throwaway characters from the movie, just generic fighters who both end up getting domed by Kano. I don't imagine too many people are lining up to play as Graji. The animated MK movie Cage Match introduces Brian Van Jones, a director of one of Johnny's movies, and David Doubledy, Johnny's agent. Both of these characters are revealed to be demons in disguise, and despite having some pretty menacing demon forms, both are taken down with ease. Doubledy is voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, and since Gilbert passed, it wouldn't feel right having this character voiced by anybody else. Besides, these are definite throwaway characters for the movie. I don't expect to see either of them ever again, let alone in the games. There was also Jennifer Grey and Chuck Golden, but they're just retcon versions of Serena and Mocap in the story, so they don't really count. There's so many characters to cover, and a lot of them are niche, minuscule characters who some of don't even fight. I definitely don't expect any of the following characters to return. I'll list the rest here. Abacus, Anos, Bo, Cody Finnegan, Ice, Lieutenant Lance, Mika Stone, Miss Bishop, Nanya, Rojak, Rook, Sang, Sing, Siang, Silence, Torque, Vapor, Wind and Rain, Zagat, Master Boyd, Lin Kang, Ethan, Peter, Emil, Gadsden, Lance, Allison Young, Emily Young, and Ramirez. Phew! When I started this video, I didn't realize there were so many characters. So, aside from Mortal Kombat Conquest, that's been all the Mortal Kombat characters who appear outside of the games. Truthfully, I don't expect to see a lot of these characters added to the games. Most likely Asgaarth and Hydro if anybody, seeing as they've both been referenced in-game now, but I'll always hold out hope that some of these niche characters get extra spotlight someday. Who's your favorite from this list? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, this has been Nickfamous. See you later.